Hi team, I hope you're all well. Today we are going to be doing my July wrap up. Today is the 31st of July. I'm not going to get anything else finished today, so I thought I would get ahead of the curve and get this video done. I had a shockingly good reading month. I don't know what happened. Partway through the month I was like, even partway through final book support group last week, I was like, I haven't read a lot this month, it's not been a great month, blah blah blah. And I think I've just been feeling a little bit off with my reading. I've not been having terrible reads after saying that. I DNF'd 5 books in July. I've not been having terrible reads, but it was 2 months between my last 5-star novel and one that I read this month. 2 months for a 5-star novel, which for me personally, some people that won't be a lot. For some people that might not have had a 5-star read yet this year. Everybody's reading is different, but for me personally, I feel like I streamline my reads very, I don't know, I'm very picky about what I read and I want to enjoy what I'm reading. So I am an avid DNF'er. I will DNF on the first page if I hate something on that page. But I also know my reading tastes very, very well, or I like to think I do. The last couple of months I've been doubting myself, and it's not like I've been having terrible reads. Like I say, I've not been getting 1- and 2-star reads, albeit I don't give a book usually the chance to do that anyway. But I don't know, it's been a while since I've had it had been a while since I'd had a 5-star read, and I think it was really getting to me. So anyway, I did get a couple this month. I was lucky in the end, but I've had a relatively good reading month. We had the final book support group, we had summer ween, so it's been a pretty good reading month. I've had a mix between manga and novels. I think I've read maybe 50-50 of manga and novels, because I've just finished 2 more mangas that I can do this wrap up. So in total I've read 27 books in the month of July. I have DNF'd 5, as previously mentioned. I will mention them. And I have read a total of 7,775 pages in July, which is the most pages that I have read all year in a month. The next one to that was 7,502, which was in April, when I read 30 books in 30 days. So I done pretty well, to be fair, and I was 3 books off of reading 30 books in 30 days, well 31 days anyway, again as well. So yeah, pretty wild, to be fair. So the first book that I did finish in the month of July, started this in June, right at the end of June as well, because I didn't realise that it was queer. It turns out that our main female character, Mallory, is actually bi. So we're following Mallory and Nolan. What happened then? Nolan. Nolan is a professional chess player, and Mallory had the chance to become a professional chess player, but something happened in her life and she now has to look after her younger siblings because her mum's unwell. So she gave up her dreams so that she can help her family out, and the story just kind of goes from there. I really enjoyed this. I thought it was adorable. It's classified as I think a YA, new adult YA, and I actually really enjoyed it. I am definitely in my new adult era, I'm not gonna lie. I'm really in my new adult era, and I want to be picking up more. So I really enjoyed this, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was fantastic, and it's just reminded me why I love Ali Hazelwood's writing style. She's got such an easy to digest writing style, and I love it. It's just the perfect writing for a palate cleanser, and I'm obsessed. I just love it. And I genuinely don't think there's anything wrong with that. I actually think that authors that have that writing style that's easy to consume and, you know, just really good palate cleanser writing style are perfect. They are so well, in fact, to be fair, Ali Hazelwood is not underrated, but to have that type of writing style is underrated, I think. I think we need more authors like this, where their books are just so easy to consume, you know? It's not, I don't think Ali Hazelwood's the type of author that I would binge her books back to back, because I would love to savor her books. So for days when I'm like, I've no idea what to read and I want something really easy to consume. She's the type of author that I crave, which is what happened here. I had been going on for a couple of weeks about the fact that I just want to pick up an Ali Hazelwood, but I've been focusing on queer books and I don't think any of her books are queer. And then lo and behold, this one actually is Mallory is bi. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, 4.5 stars. Okay, next we do have Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. This one got 3.5 stars from me. It was fine. We are following our main character called Ethan, who 30 years ago on this cul-de-sac where he lived, his best friend went missing and he was never found out of a tent from Ethan's back garden in which Ethan was in the tent. He woke up in the morning, there was a slice in the tent and his best friend was gone. 30 years later, he ends up coming back to this Hemlock Circle, sorry. 30 years later, he ends up coming back to Hemlock Circle. His parents are moving to Florida and they don't know what to do with the house yet. So he's like, well, I'll move into the house for the time being until you make a decision. Just keep an eye on it. And we'll see, you know, what happens. And all these memories start to surface and things start to happen in which Ethan really wants to find out what happened to his best friend and what went on. So that's the plot of the story. It sounds fantastic, but in reality I just don't know if it was executed too well. I feel like this was too long. It could have been a lot shorter. I really did enjoy the chapters where we got the past. It was kind of like the build up to his best friend, I've forgotten his name now, Billy. Yeah, to Billy going missing. It was like the build up to it, but from each of the different characters that were involved in the book. So Ethan's mom, Ethan's babysitter at the time, some of the other characters that still show up 30 years later, because a lot of the neighbours haven't changed. In fact, I don't think any of the neighbours have changed. So it was interesting in that sense. It took me, I think it was 3 months to get through this book. I had an arc of it and I started it while I was in Turkey and I've finished it in July. So it tells a lot that I thought it was me. I didn't think it was the book. I thought it was me. I thought it was that I didn't want to physically finish this book off because I was physically reading it obviously on my Kindle, and I thought I was going through a phase. I wasn't. I managed to very quickly finish this off on my Kindle really quickly when it came down to it, but I was just really struggling with it and I'm not fully sure the reason behind why. It's not one of my favourites from Riley Sager, but it's certainly not one of the worst from Riley Sager either. It was better than The House Across the Lake. But in general, not my favourite from Riley Sager. A little bit disappointing, if I do say so myself. But it is what it is. 3.5 stars. Next we had my first of 5 DNFs of the month, and this was First Down by Grace Riley. I'm going to show a picture of the book here because the book is in my unhaul pile at the moment and I've got no idea where. Probably at the bottom somewhere. It probably started the pile. No, I'm joking. It didn't, but it's in there somewhere. So First Down by Grace Riley. This is a sports romance, new adult. Should have been right up my street. There were a lot of problems with this book that I was not happy with. I can't believe that this book is so popular on TikTok. There are way too many problems with it. My first problem with it is that our main character's ex-boyfriend, I remember his name very clearly, can't remember anybody else's name. I think she might be called Beck. We basically have a case of like fake dating in this situation. I think she's called Beck. I can't remember what he's called. But they meet at this party. She's gone to this party with her friend. She doesn't really want to go. She's having problems with her ex-boyfriend, Daryl. Problems in the sense that he will not let her go. And he will not accept that this relationship is over. So she goes to this party and immediately Daryl makes a bit of a beeline for her. And she's like, absolutely the fuck not. And she makes a beeline for this new guy. And she ends up kissing him, and then they come up with this agreement that they will fake date. Now he's like, okay, I can't have distractions because at my last school I had distractions. He's a new transfer. At my last school I had distractions and it fucked my game up, and I can't have distractions again. I'm not going to kiss Beck again. I'm not going to sleep with her. I'm not going to do this. She's going to help me out with this class that we need to do, and I'm going to help her out with this ex-boyfriend that she's got. Fine. The problem I have is that about 10 pages later they slept together. Don't say you're going to do all this shit. You're not going to do all this shit and then do it. On top of that, Daryl the ex-boyfriend. This man is a huge fucking creeper, and for some reason everyone's sweeping it under the rug, and it's really bothering me, including this new guy, including this new guy's dad, because he ends up inviting her to one of his games and puts her in one of his jerseys, but to piss Daryl off because they're on the same team, obviously. And when his dad sees her, he's like, what the fuck is going on? I thought we agreed no distractions this time, blah blah blah. And he's like, listen, her ex-boyfriend will not hear the word no. He will not believe that this relationship is over. He keeps harassing her, blah blah blah. We're just pretending. And his dad's like, all right, fine, just don't let it be a distraction. Not one person is going, what do you mean this man is harassing her? Can we stop this? Let's go tell an adult. I'm sorry, why are we sweeping this under the rug? Why are we sweeping this under the rug? Yes, it's short, but it was very insta-lovey. I wasn't having a good time, and I couldn't deal with the fact that Daryl was such a fucking asshole, and nobody thought it was serious enough that this needed to be reported. This man was harassing this woman, and nobody said anything. So I DNF'd it. I didn't like it. It was giving me the ick. I hated it. I didn't like it. It was gone. We then have 2 volumes of Blood on the Tracks. We've got volume 2 and 3 back to back. I gave both of these 4 stars. This series is fucking wild. So weird. I don't know what's going on. I proceeded to buy volumes 5 to 12 because I had volume 4 already. I proceeded to buy volume 5 to 12 from Books Please because I really needed to know what the fuck was going on. So now I can binge up to volume 12. 4 stars. It's wild. Then I did read Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. This is my first Geneva Rose, and this one was really interesting. We're following 3 siblings who are all estranged for different reasons. One of which is a drug addict, one of which was looking after said mother who passes away, and the other one has done really, really well for himself, managed to get himself out of this relatively, I don't know, weird, bizarre, semi-toxic family, and managed to get himself away and make something of himself, and now kind of looks down on the family. Mum passes away. They all get together because obviously they need to go through everything in the house and then decide what to do with the house and plan Mum's funeral, until they start finding tapes of old memories, and one of the siblings is like, listen, let's pop one of these on for nostalgia, it'll be really fun. So they pop it on for nostalgia, only to find that halfway through the tape it glitches, and then they end up seeing a dead body and their mum and dad covering this dead body up, and it's really shocking. And there's a whole bunch of twists and turns in this. It's just come flooding back to me exactly what happens in this book, and now I'm like, that was actually really, really good. I really had a good time with this. This was really good. Not too long. Really enjoyed it. I think the twists and turns were so good. I did, right as the twist was about to come, I predicted it, but I still had a fantastic time regardless, and I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was very, very good, and I would be willing to pick up more from Geneva Rose in the future. I do think that the publishers did a dirty with the UK cover of this though, I'm not gonna lie. I will not stop going on about this because it really grinds my gears. Why would you do that? If I didn't know that this was a thing, this cover, look how stunning this cover is, look at it, look how clever this is. If I didn't know this was a cover and I walked past the UK cover in a shop, I wouldn't be picking that up. I wouldn't even be picking it up to have a read of what's on the back of it. I wouldn't even touch that book. I wouldn't even look at it. This, I would be picking it up, I'd be going, holy shit, that's incredible. I'd be reading the synopsis and it would be coming home with me immediately, and it would be solely a cover buy. However, the synopsis does sound great. Geneva, have a word with your UK publishing team. They did you so dirty with that cover. This is incredible. The UK one, not so much. 4 stars. I had another volume of Blood on the Tracks, a volume 4, another 4 stars. Don't need to get into that. It's going to be a few of those repeats. Okay, next we do have The Haunting of Velkwood by Gwendolyn Kist. I really enjoyed this. It was very short. It was good. We are following 3, well, for the most part, Talitha Velkwood, who lived in a small town that trapped, basically there's like this veil, and there are only these 3 women that came out of, well, they were kids at the time, came out of this, beyond this town. Everyone else is presumed dead inside, but there's like a veil. No one else can get in or out other than these three people, these three girls at the time. We then kind of, you know, we're in present day, and someone approaches Talitha, one of the women. So he's like, will you go back and, you know, see what's going on there? We'll pay you. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it for the money. She claims she's doing it for the money. She's got other reasons. And she goes back to try and figure out what was going on 20 years ago and what's going on now. And this was really bizarre, very, very strange, really bizarre. I didn't know if this was going to be like a Riley Sager sitch where, you know, we're led to believe it's a ghost story type of thing, there's some paranormal activity going on here, but that may not be the case. It may just be something very simple that has led people to believe it's paranormal issue but it's not, or a supernatural issue but it's not. This, I thought we were kind of in one of those modes. Definitely a supernatural element going on here for sure. But I really enjoyed this and I ended up giving it 4 stars. It was really good and I had a great time with it. Short, but really fun. And, well, kind of fun. I don't know. It was weird. I enjoyed it though, regardless. I had a good time. Then I did read It Watches in the Dark by Jeff Strand. I don't know where my copy's gone. I don't know if it's gone in my unhaul pile or if it's somewhere else. I'm not sure where my copy's gone. It could be in that pile, I don't know, because I'm not going to keep it, to be fair, so it will go in that unhaul pile if it's not already in there. I gave this one 3 stars. I thought it was good. It's a middle grade horror. We're following 2 siblings who go rafting with their dad and they end up in an accident. Dad hits his head and ends up knocked out. They end up going to find some help in a nearby town, but they have this giant scarecrow in town, and for some reason they all seem to be like obsessed with the scarecrow. All hail the scarecrow, he saves our lives, blah blah blah. Anyway, she ends up managing to get some help. They end up managing to get some help for their dad, but one of the older ladies in town is like, you guys have got to get out of here this evening, like you cannot stay here, it's not safe for you. And things start to go a little bit strange. One thing I will say, the atmosphere in this was good, but it wasn't as creepy as I've read with other middle grades, especially scarecrow ones. It didn't compare to the likes of the Catherine Arden series, which I really enjoy. But I did enjoy it regardless. I thought it was good, and I had a good time with it, and I did give it 3 stars, but it's not a book that I'm going to keep, so it probably is in that unhaul pile, which is why I don't have it right now. Then I did read Happiness Volume 1. This is from the same author as Blood on the Tracks, and I wanted to give it a try because it was on my shelves, and I am very aware that other than the last 2 in this series, the rest of the volumes were on Kindle Unlimited, so I wanted to give it a try. So I think I will continue on with this one. I ended up giving it 3 stars. It wasn't my favourite start to a manga series, but it was a good start nonetheless, and I think I'm interested in continuing on. It is like a vampire story, and I'm intrigued to continue on with this series and see where it goes. My next DNF was Horror Movie by Paul Tremblay. That's it. Me and Paul Tremblay are done now. We're done. I can't do it anymore. I just don't seem to have any luck with his books, and I don't know if it's me or him that's the problem, or maybe we just don't get on. I don't know. The only one that I've enjoyed was The Cabin at the End of the World, but even that only got, did that get 3 or 4 stars from me? I can't remember. It wasn't fantastic, didn't blow my mind. I'd already watched a movie, so I think that helped me get through the book, but it was fine, and I had a relatively good time with it. The Pallbearers Club, 2 stars. That book was terrible. Terrible. And then Horror Movie, I've DNF'd it. I just didn't get it. Sorry if you can hear the banging, someone's having the roof done. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. It was terrible. Not only that, but I was promised a really good audiobook that would bring this book to life, and I've seen a lot of reviews that say this audiobook carries this book, and unfortunately for us in the UK, we don't get the all singing all dancing audiobook. We just get a normal standard audiobook with a couple of different narrators, which is absolutely fine. I have no problem with a normal audiobook, no problem with that, but if the audiobook's going to carry the book, we need to have that all singing all dancing audiobook. Otherwise, what's the fucking point? the book's not going to work, is it? You're going to get very mixed reviews, because you're going to get a whole bunch of people saying this got 5 stars for the audiobook alone, and you're going to get a whole bunch of people in the UK going, this was shit. The audiobook the audiobook was not the audiobook we were promised, and the book itself is not good, so therefore it's terrible. It just wasn't good. It was not good, and I didn't like it. So there was a DNF from me, unfortunately. It is what it is. Next, we do have My Darling Girl by Jennifer McMahon. This is my second Jennifer McMahon. I have read Children on the Hill. Yeah, Children on the Hill, which I gave 3.5 stars. This one also got 3.5 stars. Not a bad rating, and I would pick more up from Jennifer McMahon in the future. In fact, to be fair, she's got a whole backlist that I could get to, so I might have a look and see what, like, the favourite of people. I've seen the winter people about a lot. I know a lot of people like that one, so maybe I'll try and pick that one up in winter, maybe even for Winterween in January. We'll see. I give this one 3.5 stars. It was good. It was a good, like, let me just check I'm not spoiling anything. It was a good story. I have to make sure I'm not spoiling anything. But following Alison O'Connor, she's got a husband called Mark, and she's got 2 daughters. And she's also estranged from her mum, Mavis, who has been now diagnosed with cancer. As an older woman, she's been diagnosed with cancer. Alison's estranged from her because of the abuse that they suffered when they were kids, but Mavis has asked whether or not she can come and live with Alison and her family for her last however long it's going to be, a few weeks or whatever. So reluctantly, Alison says yes, and Mavis seems to be an absolute gem with the girls and with her husband. She's an absolute gem, but the same old Mavis with Alison, and Alison cannot figure out what is going on. Some strange goings on start happening in the house, and it's all very, very bizarre, and she wants to get to the bottom of exactly what's going on. She's having conversations with her brother about it and about what happened in their childhood with Mavis and stuff like that, to make sure that she didn't make it all up. I mean, she's got literal scars on her to prove that she didn't, but she wants to make sure she hasn't made it up, because she sees how Mavis is with her girls. The plot twist for this, very interesting. I thought it was really, really good, and I had a good time with it, and I gave it 3.5 stars. Just thought it was very good indeed. So yeah, 3.5 stars for this one. Would pick up from Jennifer McMahon again in the future. Next, we have another middle grade horror. We've got Scritch Scratch from Lindsay Curry. I really enjoyed this one. It was a physical read. Again, another one that I'm really gutted that for some reason in the UK we don't have the audiobooks for, because I did get a comment. I can't remember if it was from Rye or Mel, but I got a comment on TikTok saying, try the audiobook for this. It's really, really good. It brings, like, properly brings the story to life, and, you know, it's got all the singing, all dancing, all its bells and knobs on and everything. Oh, I was like, we can't get the audiobook in the UK. Stop doing this to us. Why are the US getting all of these fantastic audiobooks? We can't fucking get them. Can they communicate, please? Anyway, it's already recorded. Just let everybody have it. Stop being selfish. Stop gatekeeping. So anyway. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was really good. We're following Claire, who is, her dad runs this company that does like paranormal, what does he call them? Ghost themed Chicago bus tours. I went on one of these in Edinburgh and it was fantastic, but ghost themed Chicago bus tours. And one day, the guy who he works with, one of them drives the bus, the other one kind of tells the ghost stories to the people on the bus. He doesn't turn up for work. He can't make it into work, and Claire's mum's like, listen, you've got to go and help your dad. And she would not be seen dead on one of these buses. She gets bullied terribly, to be fair, for the fact that her dad does this as a job. So anyway, she ends up having to go on this tour with her dad, and she's actually really creeped out by it. She sees herself as a scientist. She doesn't believe in ghosts and the paranormal and all that good stuff. She sees herself as a scientist, so she doesn't believe in it. So anyway, she goes on this tour. She's actually really creeped out by these stories that her dad's telling, and then she sees this little boy at the back of the bus, and no one else can see him, and she's really creeped out by this. Several days go by and some strange goings on start happening. Her drawer is flooded with all clothes in, the curtains are billowing in the night. She ends up sleeping in her wardrobe because she's being haunted by this little boy. And I really enjoyed this. I loved the haunting side of it. I think that the atmosphere was fantastic in this. The other thing I really loved was the relationship Claire had with her older brother Sam. And I just love to see a sibling relationship because I love seeing me and my brother in books. So I love to see a sibling relationship where the siblings are getting on. They'll bicker like a normal sibling relationship would, but they're not, you know, at each other's throats. They don't hate each other. They actually really, really love each other. And I just love to see that in this setting. There is like a friendship thing going on in here as well. She's got a best friend, but her best friend now has a new friend, and Claire is resisting this new friend, and that is going on in the background as well. And I did kind of enjoy that a little bit. It brought the childishness back into it. I think sometimes middle grade horror can seem way older than it is because of the horror element to it. I will say middle grade horror is like the only horror that's ever really, really, really truly freaked me out, and I've had to put down in the night so that I can read it in the daytime. But I think this brought it back down a couple notches to, obviously this is middle grade and it is 12-year-old stuff, as opposed to, you know, me forgetting that it's 12-year-old stuff and me thinking these kids are like 17, 18 instead, because of the shit that they're up to. So it did bring it back down a couple notches, which I think was good in a way. And I did end up then ordering 3 more of Lindsay Curry's books, because I would like to read more of her horror stuff. So very excited. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Then I did read Your Letter, which is a new manga that was sent to me by Isaiah Press. So shout out to them for sending me this one. I really enjoyed this one. This was really good. We're following Sori Lee, who's hoping for a fresh start at a new school. She basically stood up to a bully at a previous school that was bullying someone else, and then that someone else was leaving the school, and she was like, I can't go back to this school now because I'm going to be the next target and I can't deal with that. So she goes to a new school. She goes from a private to a public school, and she's concerned about settling in this new school, but it turns out she ends up finding a letter underneath her desk that's addressed to the next person that sits in the seat, and it's a little bit like a scavenger hunt, and it's really cute and I've really enjoyed it. And I just thought that the illustrations in here were stunning. I thought some of the scavenger stuff that she ended up on, the stuff like the plot of it and everything, the friendships that she ended up making, the scavenger hunt things, the places she ended up going to and the people she ended up meeting, just stunning. And I just thought it was a really beautiful book. I'm trying to find one of the really pretty places where she ended up in. She did end up in this place. I think this is absolutely adorable as well, and I'm obsessed. So yeah, I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars and I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to start getting quicker with this because for some reason I've been rambling and I don't even think we're halfway through what I got through for the month. My next DNF was The Ever King by LJ Andrews. I have had a few people say that they're now concerned about picking this up. Listen, if you've read the first series, you will be fine picking this up. I haven't read, this is the start of a new series, but I believe that it's tied into another series. Now the author has specifically said on Goodreads and Amazon that you can read this one without having previously read the other series. What I will say about that is that's wrong. The author of this book and this series doesn't know what she's talking about. No, I'm joking. Personally, I think she's wrong. Because I got... How far did I get into this? Was I like 130 pages in or something? I got a good portion into this book. I had no fucking clue what was going on. I didn't know what the Ever was. I didn't know where we were. I didn't know... There is no world building in this book whatsoever. It's all been done in the previous series. So for her to say that you don't need to have read the previous series to go into this, you are missing a whole bunch of world building, in my personal opinion, because I didn't know what the fuck was going on in here. I was so confused So confused. So I've DNF'd this. Whether or not that is a permanent DNF, I don't know, because the previous series is a 6-book series. So I think, again, another reason why she's actually said that is that, and I know a lot of authors do this, if they've got a longer series that's connected to a new series that's come out, they will say, you don't need to have read the previous series to read this one, you know, to help sales and stuff. And I understand it, I get it, but please only do that if it's true, because all you're doing now is, what you've gone and done is put me in a nasty mood. You've put me in a shit mood, and I don't want to pick the other series up. On principle, I don't want to pick the other series up because you've not been honest. So I don't think I'm stubborn enough for this to last. So for the time being, I'm going to keep hold of this. But I could be stubborn enough to make it last. I could be. We'll have to see what happens. But all it's done is put me in a bad mood. It's put a sour taste in my mouth. I don't want to pick your previous series up because you've lied to me. Hopefully I will, because I would like to go back to this and give it a bash. And maybe the series before will become my new favourite series. Who the fuck knows? But it would have been nice to know that before I went and invested in this. Did I need to buy this? No. Is that my own fault? Absolutely. LJ Andrews is not to blame for that at all, except for this stunning cover. But would I have purchased this if she'd have been honest about the fact that you probably should really, in order to get a full grasp of the world building in this series, read the previous series? No, I wouldn't have bought this, no. I would have, what I would have done is gone to the other series and I would have started there, which would have then prompted me to read them all. If I enjoyed them, read them all and get to this series and then potentially buy it. Anyway, regardless, I'm annoyed I DNF'd it. Whatever. I was really excited about that book. I thought it could be a new favourite romantasy series. Maybe it will be in the future. But for right now, I'm fucking annoyed about it. Next, I did read Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig for Final Book Support Group. This does wrap this series up and I really, really enjoyed it and I give it 4.5 stars. I'm not giving you a synopsis of this. A woman's got a nightmare in her head and it's just really good. Read it. It's great. Then I did read Aria of the Beach Forest, and this one was another manga sent to me by IZ Press / Yen Press. So thank you to them for sending me this one, because this was fucking adorable and I loved it. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Aria is a witch that lives in the forest, and one day she comes across this wolf, and the wolf would like to stay with her. And there's something weird going on to do with her grandma, this wolf, Aria. Some other stuff is going on in the background, but it's really sweet and I'm obsessed with it and I cannot wait to read more. Look how cute they are. I'm obsessed. I can't wait to read more. Thank you to Yen Press for sending me that one because I loved it. It was so good. Then we do have the Kamigawa Food Detectives, which I really, really enjoyed. I gave this one 4 stars. This was really good. This is a father-daughter duo that run this restaurant, basically, where they will make meals from a memory of yours. So, like, you know, your grandma has passed away but she made this incredible spag bol. They will make it to perfection for you, just to help relive some of those memories, you know. And it's really sweet, and for each chapter you get a different character coming in with a different story and a different meal, and it's very, very sweet and I really enjoyed it. I did find that it got a little bit repetitive, but I enjoyed it regardless. I thought it was a really nice palate cleanser and I had a very good time, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the Restaurant of Lost Recipes. Yeah, I remembered the second one in the series, which is the reason why I bought this one, because I've been sent the second one and I'm really looking forward to getting into that one because that comes out in October. So 4 stars for this one. It was very good. Next DNF was Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This book's been on my shelf for the longest time and I'm glad I finally got to it, but it's one of them books that every time I've done an unhaul I'm like, do I get rid of this frigging book? And I kind of wish I had, because I got halfway through and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get what's going on here. I thought we were going to get 6 people on an island, one of them goes missing, another one turns up dead, and we're, you know, some shit is going down with someone's killing them off one by one. I got about halfway through this book and they'd only just got to the island. They'd spent the first night on the island at this point. These people aren't even friends. They don't even know each other. We've got a couple who end up taking like 2 girls who have got a secret going on in the background anyway. End up meeting these 2 girls, taking them to the island. They end up meeting another couple on the island, and that's how we get the 6 people. I thought this was 6 friends that go on this trip. We spent 50 pages getting to the friggin' island. It wasn't good. I wasn't having a good time. It was bad. And I DNF'd it and I didn't like it. That's the end of that. It's in the unhaul pile. It's going. Next, I did read Mixed Signals by BK Borison. I gave this one 3.5 stars. This is my lowest rated from BK Borison so far. But it's not that I didn't like it. I did. I think I was in a mood. I think I was in a mood. I was up and down with my reading. I was up and down with my mood. I do want to revisit this one. I think maybe it was me. I'm not sure. But I still enjoyed it regardless. We're following Layla and Caleb in this one. And this is the 3rd book in the Love Like Farms series. And it was good. It was fine. The biggest gripe for me with this book was communication. Miscommunication. They just wouldn't communicate with each other properly. And it really got my goat. So, other than that, fabulous. It was great, 3.5 stars. Next, I did read Cat Gamer Volume 4, and while I was halfway through this, Cat Gamer Volume 5 came through the door. I've had another one since as well. So, Books Please accidentally sent me Catcher in the Rye instead of Cat Gamer 5. When you say it, you can see how they might have got that wrong, but written down, very different. So I emailed them the day my order came in. I was like, listen, you accidentally sent me Catcher in the Rye instead of Cat Gamer 5. Is there any chance you can send me Cat Gamer 5? Oh my god, yeah, no worries. Sent me Cat Gamer 5. 2 days later, another one came through the door. So they've sent me 2 now. Anyway, I read them both. I love this series. It is adorable. I'm not a cat girly. I am a dog girly. But this makes me want to have a cat. Makes me want to have 2. 5 stars for both of these. She ends up getting a new kitty. So she's already got this kitty, but she ends up getting a new one as well. And this one's a fluffy, short-legged one, and it's just fucking adorable. And I love this series. Very excited for Cat Gamer Volume 6. So good. Then I did read Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross, which wraps up this series, the Divine Rivals series. And I enjoyed Letters Enchanted, whatever the frig it's called. And I did really enjoy this one. I gave this one 4.5 stars. This is the 2nd series I've read by Rebecca Ross this year. The 2nd book was better than the 1st. So I gave the first one 4 stars, I think. And in the Elements of Cadence duology, A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless, I think I gave A River Enchanted 3.5 stars and I gave A Fire Endless 4. This one, Letters of Enchantment, the series is called, I gave Divine Rivals 4 and this one 4.5. So I do like this series more than the Elements of Cadence duology, but it was still a good duology, that one. But this one, 4.5 stars. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked where the plot went. I liked what happened with our characters and how they ended up sorting everything out and getting back to where they needed to get to, and I had a really good time with it. It was good. 4.5 stars. Then I did read Solo Leveling Volume 6. I gave this one 4 stars. You know, in every series there will be like a filler, especially a long series like this one. There will be like a filler manga and a filler episode if you like, a little bit like, you know, if you watch Supernatural, for example, the one where they've got the musical episode, you know, where there's kids acting out Supernatural. That one, it's a filler episode. It's something just to add a random bit of fun in. Grey's Anatomy, when again the musical episode where they actually sing, fucking mental, but a filler episode. You get it everywhere, especially in long series. So this one for me was a filler one, still 4 stars, had a great time with it. Loving this series, it was great. Next we have my first 5-star novel in about 2 months. I've been having 5-star mangas and graphic novels, but novels, 2 months it's been since my last 5-star novel. So my first one since then, Perilous Undertaking by Deanna Rayborn. This is book 2 in the Veronica Speedwell series, and I finally sorted out my audiobook problem. Because yet again, another rant about audiobooks and gatekeeping in the US. The US have all of the audiobooks for this series. The UK only have books 6, 7, 8 and 9. Apparently we're not allowed to listen to books 1 to 5, which is the most obscene fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Anyway, I managed to sort it out. My friend who's US Audible that I borrow, I logged out of it and I finally managed to get back in again. I didn't want to chew. If you've seen my vlog, my final book support group vlog, you'll know what happened, but I didn't want to chew her ear off. She had some pet family stuff going on, so I tried two other routes to try and get these audiobooks and neither of them worked. So I ended up messaging her, checking in one day to see how things were going and just saying like, is there any chance she could potentially give me a login again, because I'd logged out to see whether or not the books would appear because she downloaded them for me, but they didn't show up on my side. So she gave me the login again, they showed up, she saved my life and I absolutely love her. I love her anyway, but this is an added bonus. She saved my life, so that seems extreme, but I swear to you it's not. 5 stars for this. It was fucking fantastic and I loved it, and I'm so excited to continue on with the series, which I think I'm going to. You may spot these books in sporadic vlogs that don't make sense for them, but I'm just going to be dipping in and out of this series anyway. Rather than binging it in one go, I'm just going to dip in and out with random vlogs, I think. So just keep your eyes peeled for that. These might these might pop up in a vlog that doesn't make sense where it is. You never know. We'll see what happens. I've got Literature Readathon next week and I'm tempted to just pick one of these up, even though it's a historical mystery series. There is a romance going on in the background, but it doesn't really suit for Literature Readathon, but I might just pick it up anyway because I want to. Who the fuck knows? We'll find out. Next, I did read The Sanatorium by Sarah Pearse. This was so random, but I picked up The Wild, her latest release, which actually turns out is book 3 in this series. This is a detective series, and I have had this on my shelves since it came out, 2021, because I've got the Waterstones edition. Obviously, you can't get this anymore. I've had this on my shelves since then, and I hadn't read it yet, and I've been meaning to read it ever since. This would be the perfect winterween read. It's very wintry, isolated in the Alps in a sanatorium that's been turned into a hotel read, and it was very, very good and I really enjoyed it. And even the detective element, I know a lot of people don't like detective stories, but even that, she's actually on leave from work at the moment, so she does go into detective mode, but she's not acting as a detective. She's not officially a detective on scene. She's there as a guest, and then all this shit goes down. And I just thought it was very, very clever, and I'm really looking forward to continuing on with this series. I gave this one 4.5 stars. Very excited to get to The Retreat and then The Wild as well. I've got The Wild physically, but The Retreat I've got on my Kindle, and I think that's how it's going to stay. I'm not going to purchase it because I will end up unhauling this. There is no need for me to keep it because I'll not reread it. So I enjoyed it though, 4.5 stars. Then I did read Solo Leveling volumes 7 and 8. I wanted to get up to date with this series. So Solo Leveling volume 7 I gave 4.5 stars. It was very, very good and I had a really good time with it. Solo Leveling volume 8, I don't know what happened in this one. I don't know if it's because I was binging them back to back and I was like really in the story and super duper invested at the time or what, but this one had me giggling and kicking my feet. I don't know what happened with Jin Woo in this one. I've always been into him since I started this series, but this one, it just, honest to God. I don't know if it's because he was 1 minute all big buff daddy and then the next he was golden retriever cinnamon roll. I don't know what happened. I was thoroughly obsessed and I gave this one 5 stars. Very excited for Solo Leveling volume 9. Alright, we've got my favourite book of the month. So fucking excited about this, honestly. Like, I can't tell you how thrilled I am about this because this was the final book in the series and I ummed and out about whether or not to read this one. I think I was just feeling a little bit down because the series seemed to have gone downhill for me and I was nervous. I was really nervous because I just got the really pretty Ferrelute editions of these books as well and had an arc of this, and then everyone was like, listen, you should prioritise that arc. You've missed the date now for release day, but you should prioritise that arc. So I did. Business Casual by B.K. Borison. This is the last one in the Love Like Farms series. Unofficially, she may come back to it, but this book, I was so nervous. Love Like Farms got 5 stars. In the Weeds got 4.5 and Mixed Signals got 3.5, you've just seen. So I was really anxious about this one. This is the autumn one because they're all seasonal. This is the autumn one. I was really nervous. Lo and behold, this is my favourite book in the series. I fucking love this one. 5 stars. It was incredible. There were so many different things going on in here, and this book broke and healed a portion of me all in one. All in one. Our main character Charlie has ADHD. So there's ADHD in here. Both Nova and Charlie have anxiety, and then Nova's got chronic illness with, chronic pain with migraines, which I also suffer from. So the things that I suffer from, the chronic illness with migraines, the anxiety, the only thing that was missing from this actually was depression, but the ADHD as well, which to be fair, my depression and anxiety are tied in with my ADHD, but the things that I suffer from were all represented in here, and both in a mix of in the male main character and the female main character. And I don't think I've ever related to a male main character before as much in my life. I am Charlie and he is me, and I am obsessed with this book. It was so good. The relationship these two have friends to lovers, but just in the sweetest, most compassionate black cat golden retriever way I've ever seen in my life. No third act breakup. The communication in here, immaculate. The difference between Mixed Signals and Business Casual, night and day as far as the communication is concerned. Night and day. Everything perfect. I loved it. It was so good. 5 stars, and I tabbed the shit out of it as well, and I made plenty of notes. I just had one. I lost my highlighter, so I started underlining, but lots and lots of notes. This whole interaction has me sobbing. The communication between the two siblings, obsessed. Oh my god, yeah, the siblings as well. Charlie is Stella's brother, half brother from book 1. Stella is in book 1 with Luca, and Nova is Beckett's sister from book 2. So the sibling relationships in here for both sides, immaculate. Just everything. I don't think there was a single thing wrong with this. I don't think so anyway. There were a couple of moments where they could have communicated a little bit quicker maybe, but in general, fantastic. I loved it. 5 stars. So incredible. Right, my last DNF of the month is something that I've made the decision on this morning. It's Cross the Line by Simone Soltani. I'm devastated about this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really gutted. I don't know what it is about F1. I've just got distracted. Sorry. I've got a sun catcher on the window, dinosaur sun catcher. And I'm obsessed with it, and the rainbows are on my legs, and it's just really freaking pretty. Let me see if I can take a picture and I'll put it on the screen for you. Cute. I'll have to remember to put that on. Anyway, got distracted. Cross the Line by Simone Soltani. I need to really hurry this up because I'm absolutely sweating my back off. I didn't even say that right. Cross the Line by Simone Soltani. I'm devastated about this. Really gutted. We're following Dev and Willow, or Dave and Willow. I think, for me, I would say Dev, but I think he is Asian, and I think it's pronounced Dave. So I thought the audiobook narrator got this wrong, and it turns out it's me that's got this wrong. So my apologies on that if I've made any rants anywhere, because I think I have about it, but it was really bugging me because I would say Dev. It's spelled D-E-V, but apparently it is also pronounced Dave. So my apologies on that, but the representation in here, really good. Willow has chronic pain. We have BIPOC characters. There is a lot of representation in here. I got 167 pages into this and I'm bored. Fucking hell, I'm bored and I'm gutted. I'm absolutely devastated because I fucking love F1. I love F1, but I'm bored. Dave's career is on the line. He doesn't get treated the same as his teammate in his team, and not only that, but he's got a little bit of a black mark against his name because of how he acts in public. So he's deemed a playboy, which is absolutely hilarious because not once in this book is he a playboy. I'm confused. I don't get it. Description does not match the character. So confused. But he could do with a little bit of a social media manager to kind of revamp his image on social media online and help him out a little bit. Turns out Willow, that's exactly what Willow's looking to do. Now, Willow is Dev's best friend Oakley's sister, and last year they had a moment where they kissed, and she has had a crush on him since she was a child, so they're like childhood friends. And she now has the opportunity to go travelling with Oakley a little bit to some of these F1 races, because he works for F1, and see if maybe she can get her, you know, get her claws in somewhere and get a job somewhere within F1. So she goes with him, and she ends up having a chat with him, and he's like, look, why don't you work for me and help me out with my social media? So she's like, all right, fair enough, fine, let's do it. Now, we then get it to a point where they're kind of, I'm at a point where they're hanging out a bit more. I'm 167 pages in, they're still just hanging out at this point. They haven't slept together or anything. We've had the flashback to what happened last year, but that is it. But they're hanging out a little bit more. It's really weird, because in a way this is a slow burn, because at this point nothing has happened other than the flashback to the kiss last year. They're clearly still flirting with each other, they're clearly into each other. He's very heavily into her, but so it's a slow burn, but it also feels dead insta-lovey at the same time, because we are just being told that they're childhood besties. We're being told that she's had this crush on him since she was a child. We're not being shown any of that, and I just feel like it's really insta-lovey but dead slow burn at the same time. I'm not invested in the slightest in this relationship, not invested at all, and the persona that we've been given of him does not match up to who is on page, and I'm confused. We have been told he is a playboy. He keeps going on about the fact that he's in, to be fair, he does keep going on about the fact that he's in a bit of a drought, and the last time he slept with someone was 5 weeks ago. But 5 weeks is not a dry patch, my dude, let me tell you. We're just, I just don't care. And I'm devastated, because I really wanted to love this, and I can't go on any longer. This is nearly 400 pages, and I just can't do it any longer. I think that this will be great for some people. I think it's very clear online that people are loving this and having a fantastic time with it. And I think if this is your first couple, like your first book, or, you know, one of a handful of F1 romances that you've read from, you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna have a really good time. If you're not a huge F1 fan like myself, again, I think you're gonna have a really good time with it. I am a massive F1 fan, and this is like my 10th maybe F1 book, so I've been around the block a little bit with the F1 romances, and this one isn't it for me, unfortunately. I would love to highly recommend it in its place though. Lights Out by Kayla James, if anybody's interested. It is self-published, indie published, and she's got another one coming out later on this year called Jumpstart. It's the second in that series, and it's a single dad romance. So just in case you're interested in trying that one out, that one is also Friends to Lovers, Forced Proximity. Not as forced proximity, it's more forced proximity than this one, because she is also an F1 driver, which is fucking great. Black Cat, Grumpy Sunshine. This one is Sunshine. I think that's another thing I don't really like either. There's too much sunshine for me with this. I need someone to be grumpy as shit. This is too much sunshine. I don't think I like that either. It's way too much sunshine. So yeah, it's just not working for me, unfortunately. Real shame. I'm really sad about it, but it's just not working for me. The last two that I have, I've got Go 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 Ghost. I don't know if I did enough goes then. Go 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 Ghost, Volume 1. I gave this one 3 stars. It was fine. This one was also sent to me by IZE Press, along with Aria of the Beach Forest and also Your Letter. They were sent as a 3, and I give this one 3 stars. It was a good start to a series. I'm not sure if I'll continue on with it, to be perfectly honest, but it was fine. Basically following this woman who is having just a really shit time with life, and she almost ODs on some pills and beer, and she ends up with this new ghost haunting her who's like, you know what, I'm gonna help you out, let's get some revenge. So they do some really weird shit, but the ghost is really freaking me out, and on occasion for the most part will look normal, but then on occasion will look like this, and I just don't know if I can deal with it, to be perfectly honest. It's really freaking me out. So this is the ghost. So yeah, I don't know if I'll continue on with that one, but 3 stars. Thank you to IZU Press for sending it me. They also sent me A Sinner of the Deep Volume 1. I really enjoyed this one. I've just given it 4 stars. I've just read it this morning and I give it 4 stars. It was good. We're following Jo, who's a mermaid, and we're also following Ryu, who is her friend, best friend. And Ryu, basically, they're mermaids, they live under the sea, but they had this rule that you're not allowed to speak to the people above the sea, the humans, because they're not supposed to know about, the humans aren't allowed to know about the mer people. So Ryu, it turns out though, has been arrested now because she's been talking to this guy, a human guy, above the sea, and having a relationship with him, and she's now arrested, and she's trying to convince Jo to let her out because she needs to see this guy. So it's a story on love, and I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited for volume 2. So yeah, I'm looking forward to giving volume 2 a read, and I had a good time with this one. So 4 stars for that one. And that is everything that I have read in July. I feel like this is going to be a really long wrap up because this clip alone is 20 minutes. I've already stopped a 24-minute clip, and my battery died in a previous clip. So this is going to be a really long wrap up because apparently I can't shut up. I always say I'm just going to do it really rapid fire and just give you my ratings for these, but I end up telling you about the books. And especially this one as well. And I think it's because I haven't even updated my vlog yet to tell them that I'm DNFing it. It is what it is. But yeah, that's everything that I have read in the month of July. To be fair, I read a lot. And I had some fairly decent reads. I had a couple of disappointments, but I had some fairly decent reads. 5 DNFs, which is a lot. That's the most DNFs I think I've ever had in a month. But yeah, chat to me in the comments down below. Have you read any of these? What was your favourite book of July? Are you gutted that I've DNF'd any of these books? Let me know in the comments down below. Obviously all my opinions are my own opinions. Please don't be offended if I've, you know, shit on one of your favourite books. I'm really worried about people coming for me with the Ever King, but in my personal opinion, I don't know what the fuck's going on in that book, and I don't think it's right for us to be told that we can read that book independently of the other series when we can't, because all the world buildings happened in that series. In my personal opinion, anyway. I could be entirely wrong with that, and it's just a case of I'm not getting on with the book and the world building's just not there for me, which, you know, could be a case, but I don't know. I'm sad about it as well. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Chat to me in the comments down below, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.